Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another interesting video, possibly a repair. This is a MEFI 3 computer, 7.4 liters MERC Cruiser, Brian Fleming from Connecticut. This is your computer. So the first thing that I usually do on these computers, or any computer that comes, is I try to duplicate the customer concerns. Then I attempt a repair and hopefully a good result. So that's what you will see. And sometimes I explain, if it's a newer or something like that computer, we haven't worked on it. I will show you. Hopefully you can see that light coming on, that light in there. Let me actually move you here because you can see it better in there. You can see also in the scanner or in the screen, sorry, how am I losing communication sometimes comes on, and that is exactly his concern. So he said, engine runs, then loses ignition and power to the fuel pump. So right now the computer is connected and it's powered up. I have actually the diagram, so you can see in there. It has 6 fault codes: coolant sensor voltage high, throttle position sensor high, throttle position sensor low, manifold temperature sensor low, manifold pressure sensor voltage low. EST system has an open circuit. I can see the fiber reference in there. I have signal on the sensor ground. The amperage right now is a little low, but I was able to communicate. Just trying to leave it for now. Oh, by the way, the computer has 919 hours. Let me get yeah, you can see right there. So I'm losing communication. It's so quick that it's not showing it in the screen. But I was going to show you the hours. 919.7. I'm going to leave that in there to see if when it loses the communication, it shows you in there, and you will see, because when it happens, it got like it turns the fuel pump again, and this is like you're cycling the key on and off, right? Which is not happening. You see right there? Yeah, it's not showing it on the screen for you guys, but if I were to put you into my screen, let me take the diagrams out. I'm going to keep that one on the corner so you can see it. And let me put this one so we can get to see when the test light flickers again. Because it's been happening on and off and on and off like by itself. Come on, do it. And I haven't even tried to run it. Maybe it runs. So, oh yeah, look right there. You see, it lost the synchronization. When it's doing that, it's kind of like turning the ignition off and on, and I am doing nothing. So this is definitely internally in the computer. I'm glad that you guys saw that, because yeah, for some reason those updates on the other capture was not shown fully. Yeah, you can see it happening again. Now I can take that view out. All right, let's see if it runs. Because right now it's losing the communication, so let me... Yeah, it's surprisingly running. let me put the RPM so you can see that it's now on very low RPMs. I'm going to raise it up to like 600. And I got the oscilloscope in here, so I can actually show you that as well. Yeah, so let's see what happens when we lose the communication. I'm going to change the time based on the oscilloscope a little bit. See if we capture more. You know, if it does the flickering, so let's see what we lose. Yeah, you see, no injection. Perfect. This is the nice thing about having an oscilloscope because you can see it immediately. You saw how the red channel went completely off, but not the blue. The coil fires. So I'm going to move it over, the other channel over to the other set of injectors, because this is most likely, is, you know, if you kill the injectors, the bulb would die. You see right there, the bulb just like boom, 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 try to pick up again. Depends on the speed that you're going, right? No doubt about it. So we're definitely 100% reproducing the concern. And this computer, I just connected it. I mean, look at this. This is like really, really erratic. All right, well, Brian, Brian, right? Yeah, Brian Fleming, I can definitely reproduce your concerns. Let's see what we find, right? So I'm going to power this off. Let me get you back to my view. Yep, I'm going to power this up. But you see, guys, this is definitely, when I can reproduce a concern, I will attempt a repair. But if you send me a computer and you're saying like, you know, I just check, I think it was an instrument cluster or something like that from Austin, and I couldn't reproduce a concern, what am I going to repair? Let me turn the ignition off because that is keep going even with the computer off. Or the no RPM, sorry. I cannot, if I repair something and you have a glitch that is happening every month, I would not recommend to send it, because something that happens often, I can reproduce and I can repair. But when you have something, oh yeah, it happens probably every other week. Yeah, every other week. You understand that I will probably have to connect it for a week in order to reproduce it, right? Or what is the actual trigger for the problem? I need those. Otherwise, it will going to be impossible. If it has been impossible to reproduce in the vehicle, it will be even more impossible to reproduce here. So I hope that you guys understand that. And that's what I always reproduce a concern. I repair and I show a fixed computer. What is on the boat? Or what is in the vehicle? I don't know. I always give recommendations before you check your computer. I mean, you reconnect this computer, check your vehicle. But if you plug it into the vehicle and it burns it again, that's not my problem. It's not covered under my warranty. Yes, I can probably fix your computer again, but that is nothing to do with Mike Salazar Diagnostics and any repair facility, including the dealer. You go and buy a brand new computer for, let's say, if this will be available. And I have seen, you know, the MEFI 4s where they buy a brand new computer, 3 computers. Yeah, we already got 3 computers. We connected and neither one work. I'm like, no, it's not. They work. You got brand new computers, but the problem is it's still there. So every time you connect to that computer, it burns it immediately. So what do you need to do? Find the problem, correct the problem. Don't connect the computer to get it burned just because you think it's going to be replaced. No, the dealer, you know what the dealer is going to say, or the manufacturer, sure, $5,000. You want another one? Another $5,000? You want another one? Keep out. We love your money, right? So that's just the way it is. All right, guys, let me open this one up and see what I see. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I think I got good news. So what is happening with this computer? I think that Brian, you need to check all your grounds on the block because you might have a lot of corrosion in there, or the harness. This is what is having problems in this computer. I can see on the entire board, kind of like what it looks like a corrosion. It's like a black corrosion, and it's just due to bad grounds on the block or a bad alternator. It's hard to say because it could be overcharging. It could be spikes due to, again, bed grounds, loose grounds, or so. And I can correct those. I have actually completed what I think is the problem on the board, and let me run it, because the only test is going to be letting it run for a while. So I got the Pico scope connected. Not sure why it's not showing. Sure, I have selected. Yeah, we have it again. You can see I have, you know, the injectors were there firing. Remember, sometimes when the computer was on, and now the computer is on and it's not happening. Let me put the diacom, and I'm going to go into the diacom to put the RPM so we can see when I get the correct RPMs. Yeah, you can see that in there. Let's run it. So right now we got 600 RPMs. Keep an eye on the test light. Remember how that was flickering and happening? So you saw before, I was with the ignition on, and it's now steady, no longer doing that flickering or cutting the injectors. And it was happening all the time, When I was doing the work, and this is very important, I do it with the computer live, because this is the only way that I can actually test the circuits that are need to be cleaned and replaced. 2 voltage regulators, I remove, replace, and then capacitors and diodes that were just really, really corroded. Corroded, I'm not sure if it's the correct terminology, because it's not like a moisture corroded. It's like a corrosion from arcing or bed grounds. So when the computer doesn't have the ground, it will use the sensor grounds for the injectors, because the computer is the one that provides the injector grounds. And I can see on the injector drivers also that was part of that problem. So I clean all that, and it seems like it's working really, really good. I'm going to turn the RPMs off. Let's wait for that fuel pump to go off, and let's leave it in there for a little bit. Remember, this was, you saw it. For you guys, this is like, I just turn it off and immediately follow. But for me, it's being, 40 an hour, 40 minutes, 1 hour. And I was, when I was doing this test, I kept because I was with the oscilloscope looking into the board and, testing different components to see if I was missing voltage rails, to see what it was causing the issue. And I could see, even with no RPM signal, injector firing. And then the fuel pump was coming on, like an injector command, like almost like if the computer thing that was receiving an RPM signal. And this is when you have, main grounds inside the board that are, erratic. Well, it's like you're cycling the ignition on and off, and that was triggering that behavior. And we can see right now, nice and steady, no more of that. So I'm going to run it one more time. We can see that fuel pump nice and steady, no longer flickering and losing the injector. Right now I have the oscilloscope. The 2 signals that we see there are the injectors. So I'm going to move one lower than the other one so you can see that both are there. But remember, we were missing both when that behavior was happening. We were losing that power or ground, let's say, right? And those ICs were already intermittent. The same thing, those are like little BGTs and MOSFETs. They are very prone to voltage spikes. Those are what they cannot really take, and sometimes they go into a berserk behavior due to that same thing. But yeah, everything is looking good. So I'm going to increase the RPM. Disregard that cut in there, because that's when I'm pushing the bottom. You can see the light is steady. I'm going to go into 3000. Again, that gap that we saw there is me pushing the button on the simulator. I'm trying to warm it up, see if it reacts or if it's everything good, because I have done extensive replacement of capacitors and diodes and everything that I thought or think that could be creating the issue, and I think I nailed it right. Not one time, an entire video test that we have together, right? And this was, like I said, it was happening a low idle. Let me go down to 600 again. Because this was the magic spot, either low RPMs or no RPMs. Because remember, when I was turning this computer off, like I did now, we were having that light flickering and the injector firing, and that is no longer the case. So Brian, I think we got a successful repair on your computer. And again, this needs to be corrected in the boat. You connect this, it will happen again. It will cook. If you put a brand new computer, if you use this computer, it will cook it again. So check your alternator ripple. alternator charging, make sure it's not overcharging, because that will create that same situation. And also check all your grounds, main block grounds. And I know some people are like, well, you know, man, that ground is right at the bottom in between the transom and the engine. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You need to take it out, yeah, because exactly being so buried in there, nobody takes it, nobody removes it, nobody cleans it. And we're talking about both that are, 2000, 1998, 1999. So we're talking about, 26, 27 years old boats. So yes, you need to do that as a preventive maintenance, because otherwise you will have this happening very, very soon. All right, guys, I hope that you like the content. This was a successful repair. Still, the computer is connected, and you can see no more flickering, no more issues. This is a completely successful repair. If you have any marine or automotive computers that you need to send for repairs, look for MikeSalazarDiagnostics.com. I'm going to put the title on the title of this video, my website, so you can copy and paste it in there. It's the same name as in the YouTube channel, just .com. So it's pretty easy. And if you're here and you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. That really helps my small business a lot. Every time you subscribe, YouTube promotes more and more of my videos. That's how you find me, and it's for free. So thank you so much if you do so. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.